West Virginia trying to solidify their NCAA tournament hopes. Tip-off around the corner. You're watching March to March presented by Principal. We've got a Big 12 showdown in Morgantown, West Virginia. TCU on the road taking on the West Virginia Mountaineers here at WVU Coliseum as we check out the up-to-date Big 12 conference standings. TCU tied for 7th. West Virginia right on their heels at 7-9 in conference play. And with that, we say good evening. Jordan Kent alongside my good friend Mike O'Donnell. AJ Ross will join us here shortly. Well, here we are, Mike. Late February. March is right around the corner. Huge game for both these teams. The definition of a bubble game.
Yeah, if the season ended today, West Virginia would be in, according to Jerry Palm, as a 10 seed. TCU still little work to do. 4 quad 1 wins. This is a quad 1 opportunity for TCU to build their resume.
We've talked about West Virginia, the fact that they've been struggling a little bit lately, but they've got a lot of confidence in the fact that Javon Small, one of the best scorers in the entire country, can help bolster their offense.
Yeah, he is one of the best point guard scorers in the nation. A true 3-level elite scorer. Can urge it from 3, mid-range, and get to the rim. He's also top 10 in the Big 12 in assists and steals, an elite two-way player. Javon Small is the truth.
TCU will try to slow him down tonight, and the Horned Frogs playing very well as of late. They've won 5 out of their last 7, 4 straight against West Virginia, and they're seeing a lot of leadership come from Noah Reynolds.
Noah Reynolds needs a big game tonight, and that's not just a hot take or understatement. He was 0 of 6 from 3 in their loss against Cincinnati. He needs a monster game, not just from 3, but on both ends of the floor for TCU tonight.
The TCU Horned Frogs trying to hop up the standings and maybe get through the bubble. West Virginia, the Mountaineers, can they get to the summit of an NCAA tournament berth? Starting lineups, opening tip from West Virginia. The start here in Morgantown, West Virginia. TCU getting set to take on West Virginia as we take a look at our starting lineups for TCU. David Punch, one of the many talented freshmen for the Horned Frogs. Expect some big minutes from him. And then for West Virginia, Amani Hansberry, the way that he plays in the pick and roll with Javon Small will be key to the Mountaineers' offensive success. Well, our very own AJ Ross has sent it down to you. You had a chance to catch up with both coaches.
Jordan, this matchup tonight is going to be a defensive juggernaut, with West Virginia ranking 2nd in the Big 12 and opponents' points per game and TCU ranking 4th. Jamie Dixon told me that he brought his team here to Morgantown early so they could get some good practices in and hopefully get to a good start tonight. Meanwhile, Darian DeVries says 2 big X factors tonight will be the battle of the boards and free throws, especially since TCU dominated those stats in their matchup earlier this month. DeVries did not mince words. He said his guys cannot let this TCU team get 2nd and 3rd chance opportunities again, guys.
Thank you so much, AJ. And Mike, being a former point guard in college, you get set for a defensive battle like this. What's going through your mind as you see the series history and TCU winning 4 in a row?
These games are so important. Everybody's banged up, sore, exhausted. This time of year in February, you look at the series history, you look at the rivalry. This opportunity right now for TCU is huge to build their resume. And for West Virginia, it's a chance for them to find rhythm on the offensive side of the floor. But AJ is 100% right. This is going to be an absolute defensive battle tonight in the Big 12.
The tip is won by the Horned Frogs, and it's going to be Reynolds that will control it and get the offense going. Reynolds, one of 2 transfers from Wyoming for this TCU team, and already some stiff on-ball defense from Harris. Vashawn Alette trying to get the entry pass to Ernest Uday, who was getting some nice positioning. That's kicked out of bounds. Most importantly, resets the shot clock.
I know it may seem something small, and no pun intended, but it's just Javon Small making a defensive play. He doesn't get enough credit for how good he is defensively. We'll see that tonight.
I love it. Not even a minute into the game, and you've got a pun, and then we have an illegal screen. First team foul against TCU. That's going to be against Ernest Uday. We talked to Jamie Dixon, Prior to this one, during shoot-around, he said, we've got to do an excellent job with our rebounding tonight. And then when we talked to Darren DeVries, wanted to make sure his team took open shots on the offensive end, that they really stick to their strengths offensively.
Well, they're still searching for who that second scorer is going to be, and it can be that guy. That was Amani Hansberry, very capable in pop situations from three.
Hansberry, the transfer from Illinois, shooting 30% from beyond the arc, but one of the rare pick and pop threats here in the Big 12. It's Reynolds coming off the handoff. Punch, draws two defenders, punch, some fancy footwork, and picks up the foul. This is going to go against Toby Akani, his first, but already Punch showing some veteran moves in the paint.
Yeah, 6'7", good footwork from the freshman, and he's at the place now in the season because of his talent and how much he has played from a minutes perspective. David Punch can't be considered just a freshman anymore. He's playing at a high level, coming off 18 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists in that loss for Cincinnati. He's really finding his footing, Jordan.
Well, it's interesting, Mike, because you talked about what's the identity of TCU basketball right now. They're in the midst of one of their greatest stretches in program history, trying to make it to 4 consecutive NCAA tournament berths. You asked which player personifies TCU basketball. They gave you a great response.
Yeah, it feels it's our team, but also with David Punch, he just is a freshman who doesn't play or move quite like a freshman. He's going to be really, really good in the years to come. Right on cue with the steal and the pass. Are you serious, David Punch?
Alette to the rim for the lay-in, and we've talked about it in these types of games. Being able to generate some easy scoring opportunities is clutch.
Did you see that left-handed pass from Punch in semi-transition? How many 6'7" guys, let alone freshmen, can do that?
TCU, the only team in the Power 5 conferences to have 5 freshmen playing more than 7 minutes per game. The youth on display. And we have out of bounds, a second turnover as Jonathan Powell stepped on the sideline.
Look at the steal from Punch, jumping out on the hedge in the deep corner. Small just loses it. Left-handed bounce pass to lead Alette for that layup. Wow, from the freshman.
We've talked about it. TCU playing very well. They've won 5 out of their last 7, including an upset over Texas Tech. This is a team with a lot of confidence. It's flowing. They've found their rhythm, relatively healthy. Wenzel fading away. Tough shot. Rattles home, and it's a fast start for the Horned Frogs.
The biggest issue for TCU has not been defense this season. It's been on the offensive end. Is their inability to make shots consistently, especially contested shots, has been an issue so far tonight. Good start.
Mike, in their last game on the road at Cincinnati, they had 1 field goal in the first 10 minutes. Now they already have 2 in the first 2.5 minutes. So it's been 2 turnovers for West Virginia. That's led to 4 points for TCU. But all the freshmen we talked about for TCU, that's a lot of youth in today's game where you're typically bringing in veteran transfers.
No question about it. And Jace Posey, also number 41, you'll see him tonight. He's another talented freshman. TCU had one of the highest rated freshman recruiting classes in the country coming into this season.
Wenzel running the lane, gets stopped at the cup though, was bothered. Excellent defense by Hansberry. Small will race it down in transition, draws 2. Hansberry locked and loaded, swirls out though.
Great pass. Yeah, great pass from Javon Small there, putting his defender in hostage.
Reynolds picked up a foul on the other end for TCU. Here is Wenzel, his 3. Can't drop, Punch trying to fight for it, loose rock. It's Harris on the run. Harris trying to power up, and Harris with the first bucket for the Mountaineers as the confetti rains amongst the Maniacs.
Sincere Harris used his eyes to get himself a better angle away from Uday's block potential.
Look at Harris's body language on defense. He wants to step up to the challenge and just be all over Reynolds whenever he gets the catch. They try to get the roll. Uday can't handle it. Second turnover for TCU. Reynolds trips on the court monster. Harris tries to go shoulder to shoulder. Hansberry right there, and then whirls in, and back-to-back buckets for the Mountaineers.
How about the energy that Sincere Harris is bringing on both ends of the floor for West Virginia?
Alette trying to take the challenge to Small. They go inside to Uday. Uday spinning to that right shoulder, up with the left, too strong, rebound to Harris.
He doesn't want to spin that way. Good defense by Hansberry.
Harris might have taken an extra step there. West Virginia gets away with one. They'll reset in the half court. Here's Small on the wing. Hansberry eyeing the help defense, flips it. Harris, one more. Long three off target for Powell. Rebound kept alive by Hansberry. Small working against Alette. Alette doing a fine job staying in front of him.
That was
8 seconds left to shoot.
That was great defense from Alette.
Oconee to the left, gets the angle, puts it in with the right.
One of the biggest issues for TCU's defense. They are elite at guarding the three, but when they don't play well, they give up a lot of layups. You go back and watch the film, and they struggle with dribble penetration at the rim.
6-0 run for TCU. Here's Reynolds fading away, blocked by Harris. Sincere Harris, energy on both ends of the floor, setting the early pace for West Virginia. You love the energy he's bringing to the floor.
How about a little pace here in Morgantown? Fun game to start. Oconee, drive, attack, layup, block on the other end. Sincere Harris bringing a ton of energy for the Mountaineers.
Let's go back about 3 weeks ago to February 5th. West Virginia at TCU. Vashon Alette leads the Frogs with 22 points and 11 rebounds, including the game-sealing putback in the final seconds. And Jamie Dixon records his 500th career win. TCU gets the 65-60 victory. And let's see who's reaching new heights, brought to you by Werner Ladder. And it's Alette, who had 22 points, had to climb the ladder for a career high 11 rebounds, make that season high, and they need a similar performance from him tonight. And already off to an early start defensively, some active hands. He's gotten a run-out lay-in as well, too.
Would like to draw attention to Alette being 6 of 7 from the free throw line in that game, that win versus West Virginia a few weeks ago when they won by 5. You know, TCU, they had 15 turnovers, too many turnovers, Jordan, but they were 20 for 23 from the free throw line. That was the difference in the game, and Alette was a big reason why, manufacturing some easy points at the free throw line for the Horned Frogs.
Which is incredible. They shot nearly 90%.
Yeah.
They're one of the bottom 10 free throw shooting teams in the nation at 65% per game, as that jumper is off target for Trey White. Joseph Yesufu checking into the game for West Virginia. His baseline jumper, no good. Rebound cleaned up by Malik Diallo, as these teams have gone to their bench here for a couple of more players.
Just good help by Oconee as the tag man on that roll.
Punch given some space, can't capitalize. Rebound from Harris. Harris already very active in this game, his 4th rebound.
Good scatter report defense from Toby Oconee on that.
It's always interesting when you watch players gap, because you're going to get a reach-in foul here from Diallo. But having the discipline sometimes, because you have to fight that natural urge, I'm sure. You see somebody with the ball at the three-point line, I've got to close out immediately. You're supposed to gap in that situation.
Your feet take away the drive, but your mind takes away the shot. So when that's from a scatter report standpoint, you got to know who's a shooter, who's not. Coaches always have different sayings. They might be in red coverage, which red means you have to close out as fast as you can because they're a great shooter. A player might be, or a defense might be in green or yellow coverage, means you can run out there and actually take it easy, slow down, and not have to worry about that three.
The feet take away the drive, the mind takes away the shot. I felt that way on offense. That was my problem as a player.
Well, when you're not a good shooter, that's your issue.
Oh, we all don't have the silky smooth stroke as Mike O'Donnell does. Here's Small in the corner. He's been quiet so far. You see just corralled right now by a couple of defenders as Jace Posey checks into the game for TCU, number 41. 8 to shoot for Yesufu. Yesufu, the drive, the floater. Bounces out, but chasing down the rebound is Eduardo Andre.
He's one of the best at attacking the rim on the offensive glass in the Big 12. When he brings energy like that, changes so much of the offensive possession for the Mountaineers.
Andre spent his last 2 seasons at Fresno State, changes coast, and then here's a steal on the open floor. Alette to the cup, too strong, tried to go off the backboard to Posey. A little bit too much sauce on that one. Oconee pivoting, he's going to be called for the travel, and Jamie Dixon right now trying to get Alette's attention just to make the fundamental play.
feel like this is a play you can't make on the road. I understand what Alette was trying to do. He came up with such a great individual defensive steal and run out. You just got to finish that. Points on the board on the road. That's a November play. That's not a mid-February play when you're fighting to grow your resume.
It was strange because we saw the defender just stop and hit the brakes. You normally see them challenge, and that was the situation where he was right there to break things up. So another turnover. It's the 4th for TCU. Here's Alette in the paint with the left hand. It's short. Offensive rebound brought down by Diallo. Whistle on the play. Jump ball. Mountaineer basketball.
You said brought down by Diallo. I looked right over at Coach Jamie Dixon, and he's screaming at Diallo, don't bring the ball down. That's the curse of the big man, right? Because little guys like me, you bring it down, it's an opportunity for me. I'm not jumping with you, but it is freshman. Catch it, chin it, go straight up, catch it, chin it, or kick out.
That was one thing Jamie Dixon wanted to see, was getting to the free throw line more often. How can we be aggressive on the offensive end to get our opportunities? Alette gambling. Harris, nice catch. Harris, the strong drive, and he's fouled as he goes up. And I tell you what, Mike, the energy we're seeing from Sincere Harris has completely set the tone for West Virginia.
This whole season, after Tucker DeFries didn't play, wasn't sure if he's going to come back, ends up leaving. Ends up redshirting and not playing for the rest of the season. West Virginia searching for that second guy. It doesn't have to be the same second guy, but West Virginia needs the second guy to step up next to Javon Small every game.
Catch a college hockey showdown as Minnesota Duluth hosts Miami of Ohio right here Friday at 8 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. You pointed it out, the injury to Tucker DeVries, one of the more debilitating ones in the Big 12, and what he would have meant for the style of play for West Virginia as well too. And right now it's a bit of a drought for both these teams. That free throw helped the cause, of course, but then a foul on the other end on Powell.
You weren't just losing Tucker DeFries, a good wing scorer. You were losing Tucker DeFries, a potential All-American candidate. He's one of the best wing scorers in the country the last couple years in college basketball. And what West Virginia has been able to do without him has been amazing. This is a team that right now, if the season ended today, they'd be a 10 seed in the tournament, according to Jerry Palm. Got 5 quad 1 wins. I mean, they've had a fantastic season when nobody expected West Virginia to be this good.
The big reason for that has been Small, who's been drawing a lot of defensive attention. West Virginia trying to capitalize. And how about K.J. Tenner with the runner?
That was Tennessee's Class 4A Mr. Basketball with a tough runner.
A 9-0 run for West Virginia. TCU has been scoreless for the last 5.5 minutes. Posey, the three, he'll launch. No good. Rebound to Yesufu.
Great defensive possession for the Mountaineers, especially Yesufu fighting over that zoom handoff.
Small open look. His three right on target.
One of the last guys in college basketball that you want to give an open rhythm three to is Javon Small.
And Jamie Dixon was screaming for a timeout that entire possession. But West Virginia coming out the gate after going down 5-0, they rattle off 12 straight points.
12 straight points, that means a West Virginia kill shot to start this game. Mountaineers playing good at home. Always helps when you got Javon Small ripping the nets.
March to March presented by Principal. 12-5 lead for West Virginia. A.J. Ross moments ago caught up with TCU head coach Jamie Dixon.
Coach, your defense has forced 5 turnovers to start this one, but WVU on a run currently. What more do you need to see defensively to slow some of this?
Shots, that's hurt us. 2 layups we gave away, and then 2 open threes we just missed. So it's going to wear on you. We got to put the ball in the basket, but 2 transition layups to start the game there. We got 3 that gave up 3 layups. So we got to defend better. We got to play better. That's what we're going to do.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, AJ. And it's interesting, Mike, because for TCU, they talked about getting off to a much faster start. They built a 5-0 lead, but they have now been scoreless for the last 6 minutes and 17 seconds. And another big story in this game is the rebounding differential. 13-5 advantage for West Virginia right now.
If you know anything about Jamie Dixon and TCU basketball, it's all about winning the rebounding battle. And they have done that the last 4 years, been dominant on the offensive glass. But this season have really struggled with that. They're trying to be a +10 rebounding team. They're -8 tonight.
And that's very tough coming out of a timeout. You have a set ready to go, and you throw the ball out of bounds, unfortunately.
West Virginia, tail of the tape. They have 1 kill shot. They've got 1 10-0 run to start this game, and they have 3 kills. A kill in modern basketball is 3 defensive stops in a row, and West Virginia already has 3 of them.
The Mountaineers still on this 12-0 run. Small draws 2 defenders. Pocket pass down low. What a find to Andre.
Vision. Wow.
The run continues for the Mountaineers. TCU just trying to find something offensively, and then a foul against Small as Wenzel was coming off the screen. Fans here thought Wenzel just simply tripped over his own feet. So Small picks up the foul, and it's the 3rd foul against West Virginia. Punch on the baseline. Has the size advantage over Yesufu. Poked away down low. Tenor got a hand on it. Now we've got a scrap for the leather. West Virginia scoops it up. It's Harris up ahead. Harris with the left-handed lay-in. The Mountaineers have put the clamps on TCU as they continue this run. Reynolds galloping through the lane. Alette creates the contact, and we have a travel. And how about just the on-ball defense here, Mike O'Donnell?
Attacking, getting aggressive, diving on the floor for loose balls. The deflection, the steal, the throw ahead from Small. The energy for West Virginia has been off the charts.
6 points off of turnovers for West Virginia. Each team with 5 turnovers. We mentioned 2 of the best defensive teams in the Big 12. TCU right now showing the zone as Small patrols the baseline. Harris, the catch, the rise, the shot. It is Harris's night so far.
You said it. It is all Sincere Harris in this first half. 7 points for Harris.
Then a foul on the ball. KJ Tenor getting a little too physical at the moment.
Harris looks, you know what I love about that? He looked pass, doesn't have it, turn around, and then the shots. He's been unselfish while hunting for a shot at the same time.
Wenzel finally puts an end to the scoring drought for TCU, and that breaks an 18-0 run for West Virginia. It's the first basket, first points in over 7 minutes of play for the Horned Frogs.
TCU just can't afford to play from behind. They are last in the Big 12 in scoring, about 68 points a game.
Small knifes through the defense, kicks it out. Yesufu, yes sir, from beyond the arc. The Mountaineers scorching the nets on fire right now. 9 of 15, shooting 60%. And then another steal. Small running the lane, Small up and under, and a heartbreaker at the rim. TCU will try to push it back down. Alette trying to post up against Tenor. Uday flips it over to Alette. 12 to shoot. Alette just hounded coming off that screen, picks up the dribble. It's punched in the corner, shot clock winding down, punch spins, punch denied, and sent to the deck. Numbers for West Virginia. Andre with the block. Yesufu again. Skips off the rim, and then a foul on the floor as Eduardo Andre has stepped onto the floor off the bench and anchored this Mountaineer defense.
This has been a defensive clinic for West Virginia. Andre coming from the weak side to help. 6'11", making a play, timing up a block. Good wall up by Yesufu. And then he sprints on the other end of the floor and gets that offensive foul call.
See the defensive rankings for West Virginia just stymieing opponents. TCU 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. And the Horned Frogs shooting 21.4% to start this game. And also Reynolds, Mike, picking up his second foul already as he heads to the bench for TCU. 10 to shoot for Yesufu, drives baseline, cut off by Trey White. 6 to shoot, Tenor having to work against punch, the pump fake, step through. And how about the finish from KJ Tenor?
It's that kind of night for West Virginia because there is no way that shot should have gone in.
Darren DeVries animated on the sideline, yelling at his team to stay in that defensive stance, and a foul for Alette as he attacks the cup, but it is all West Virginia here in the early going.
When you're making shots like this, it's your kind of nights. May not make that 9 out of 10 times, but wow, West Virginia rolling, 23-7 at home.
Lead for West Virginia. A.J. Ross caught up with Mountaineers head coach Darren DeVries during the timeout.
Let's go! Coach, Sincere Harris flashing early in this one. Then your team went on an 18-0 run. What do you like about your efficiency and pace to start this one?
Yeah, I really like defensively. I think we've been really disruptive. That's led to some better opportunities for us on offense. We've got to continue to do that.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
It all starts with the defense, Mike, and that is what West Virginia has hung their hat on all season long. This is a team that was picked to finish essentially last in the preseason poll in the Big 12. They have been the biggest surprise of any squad as far as how well they played this season, and it started with the defense.
And that's because of Darren DeVries. He's got an offensive genius mindset as well, but he has an elite defensive mindset, and that's what he's bringing to this West Virginia program and culture. And West Virginia's top 25 in the nation in scoring defense. They're holding their opponents to 64 points a game, and they guard the three at an elite level. 12th in the nation in defensive three-point field goal percentage, 29%. That's what teams are shooting if they're lucky.
And that's from three right now. TCU is barely shooting 22% from the field in the early going as Alette hits 2 much-needed free throws for the Horned Frogs, and now we see them roll out the press for the first time.
And you have to just make something happen. You're looking for energy and effort, but that was broken with ease. Have to finish that if you're O'Connie. Wow.
O'Connie. Ball slips out of his hand as he goes up, so a golden opportunity for TCU. Alette kind of got caught in midair, but tipped in by Uday, an acrobatic finish.
That's where TCU is really good. Pick and roll, throw it up to Uday for the lob, who is one of the best dunkers in college basketball.
Uday, a former McDonald's All-American, originally committed to Kansas.
Lob.
Transferred over, and then they try to go to the lob. Nearly broken up. O'Connie skies, rips it away. Small lines up the three, and you can't leave him that much space.
2 of the most open three-point looks that Javon Small has gotten since November, I think.
I was about to say. We've talked to Coach DeVries, and he mentioned how teams with so much film now on Small and the rest of the supporting cast have changed their defense and really slanted it towards Javon Small.
And speaking of defense, Yesufu is doing such a nice job fighting over screens, having a no-screen mentality, tough cut.
Wenzel cutting, and he's been the bright spot offensively. He's got 6 points now for TCU.
All set up by Trey White on that dribble penetration. That's a tough and difficult pass to make. Got to have perfect timing.
Just over 6 minutes left here in the first half. Small with 6 points off of 2 threes. Hansberry spinning back to Small. Shot clock at 8. Small, a couple of jabs, gets the angle. What a strong take by Javon Small.
Most important word in that sentence that you just spoke into the microphone was strong. His strength is severely underrated, especially with the ball in his hands.
Posey trying to answer on the other end, looking for the whistle. No call, so another opportunity for West Virginia. Small, oh, he's starting to cook right now. Watch out, Javon Small, starting to heat up. It can come at you like an avalanche. Javon Small, scoreless for the first several minutes of this game. Now with 11, imposing his will, and they love it here in Morgantown. Javon Small with 11 points, 4 of 5 from the field. You get the sense that he just cranked the dial to 11 here.
Javon Small is one of the most elite scorers in pick and roll in the country, and that's not just a hot take. He is 6th in the nation in pick and roll scoring efficiency, according to Synergy Sports. He has a 50% effective field goal percentage in pick and roll action specifically. So basically, you've got a 50% chance that you're going to score if Javon Small is in pick and roll taking a shot. He is analytically ahead of Mark Sears and Ryan Nembhard. That's how good Javon Small has been scoring in pick and roll action.
On top of that, as we pointed out, he's at the top of every team scouting report. They are changing their pick and roll defense to try and defend him, and he is still finding counters to it. So he has helped really open up this game for West Virginia, trying to go baseline. That is Trey White, who picks up the foul, and TCU finally starting to find a little bit more rhythm offensively in the half court.
Because they're attacking the rim. They got the backdoor cut for the layup, and now you've got Trey White attacking the rim. Sometimes it can be as simple as this. When things aren't going well, get to the rim for a layup or foul and free throws.
It's the second foul on Jonathan Powell. So Powell will check out. Sincere Harris will come in for him. And Trey White came over from UNC Wilmington, was All-Colonial first team last year. Another one of those players for TCU. And how about the offensive rebound and putback from Diallo, who's been active on the glass?
That was shockingly easy.
I think everybody was surprised. It got so quiet. Wow. Everybody was surprised he got that rebound so easily. Harris breaks the press, and how about the steal from Hansberry as Harris skies for the slam. Hansberry gave an excellent box out to open up the lane there for Harris.
Look at Yesufu's on-ball defense. Always looking for deflection steals. Good fight over by Harris. Look at this defense from West Virginia. Can barely even get into the paint.
Small cutting off all the lanes, and White hits a tough shot. Put 2 more on the board for TCU.
It doesn't get any harder than that from a percentage standpoint for TCU. But Trey White making a few plays here late in the first half that TCU has desperately needed.
Small, that 3 rolls out. West Virginia was 4 of 8 prior to that one from outside. Reynolds, the handoff. Wenzel catching fire, too strong. Tapped alive by Small. Harris controls it.
I like it though for TCU. I like that.
Yesufu, corner 3, knocks it down. West Virginia came into this game shooting 32% from 3. They are 50% here in the first half. They go to Diallo. Diallo, the catch, the balance, and the finish.
TCU is going to have to figure something out defensively because West Virginia is shooting 60% for the game.
That was one of their calling cards for TCU, one of the top defensive teams in the Big 12, but West Virginia just carved them up as we have a foul on Alette as he bumps Small. Will step aside. West Virginia finding the long-range connection here in the first half.
5 made threes for West Virginia, and almost all of them have been wide open. Rolling here in Morgantown.
Early non-conference slate. Here's the tournament resume because Mike O'Donnell, you're looking at the whole body of work throughout the season, and you see those wins against 3 teams that were in the top 10 at the time. Couple that with the defense for West Virginia, Javon Small, and the offensive weapon that he is. This is a team that you don't want to see on just 24 to 48 hours of preparation.
No, because it's almost impossible to prepare for them how they play defensively and how physical and aggressive and stout they are guarding the three-point line. If you've never played against Javon Small, it's extremely difficult to scout for a player like that. He has the potential to be a March Madness star this season. West Virginia's going to get in the tournament. Jordan, I will say this, WVU Coliseum, as Harris gets that back door, this place should be sold out. West Virginia is a great team. Nobody thought they would be this good. They've got 5 quad 1 wins, no losses in quad 3 or quad 4. And they had an overtime quad 1 loss against Baylor. One of the best stories in college basketball as far as I'm concerned.
Truly are. TCU, they were 5 for their last 7. Another turnover here. Yesufu tries to split Two Horned Frogs, gets tripped up, and that's going to be another foul against TCU. 7th team foul.
This is really good action out of the sideline, out of bounds. All you're doing, it's a two-man game, and it's designed that way on purpose. Very rarely does the sideline out of bounds thrower, passer, actually get the next pass. Almost never happens.
It's the second foul on Micah Robinson, so heading to the line is Joseph Yesufu, who had spent some time at Drake, also was at Kansas during their title season, then at Washington State last year. Coming up, it's AT&T at the half with Brent Stover, Wally Zerbiak, Roy Hibbert, and Gary Parrish. You know, it's very mountainous here in West Virginia. We know Brent Stover would have loved to have run some of these hills here, the former Big 12 track star that he is.
Definitely not in that Kansas State singlet.
Yeah, anybody in purple not having a whole lot of luck tonight is TCU down 20 at the moment. West Virginia putting on an offensive clinic. 16 of 26 from the field, shooting 62%. Used a 23-2 run early in this game to build this margin.
Got to keep attacking the rim, Jordan. Excuse me here for TCU. Nice lob.
Diallo down low, surrounded by 3 defenders up top. It's White for 3. TCU still without a triple in this game, and it's Small that starts the break. Yesufu thought about it for a second, back to Small, inside, Hansberry finds the angle and gets the foul.
I mean, Javon Small almost makes no mistakes. He doesn't take bad shots. He doesn't make bad passes. This was such a high-level decision from Small, who's hit 3 threes, and where he was standing, where he was positioned at the three-point line, I thought he was going to shoot it. Honestly, I would have shot it if I would have made 3 threes in the first half, but he elects to make the right team play. I love that from Javon Small.
And another sign that things are difficult for TCU, we highlighted Noah Reynolds in the open and his important role for TCU. He's picked up his 3rd foul already, Mike, and he came right back on the floor and got that one. And for West Virginia,
scoreless. He's scoreless
as well. For West Virginia, a team that averages 14 assists per game, they have 9 assists already in this first half.
Yeah, the offense is about as fluid as it's been all season long, and could this be a catalyst offensively for West Virginia as February starts to wind down? Toughest part of the year to get better.
The challenge for TCU, you've been in these situations, still look for good shots. There's a lot of time. You're not going to get back into this game with just one shot. Tapped out of bounds. It'll be TCU ball with 10 to shoot.
No reason to take chances here. There's an eternity left in this game, and if you're TCU, Jordan, I know you're talking about offense, but I think Coach Dixon would say, look, we'll find ways to score. We've got to be better defensively. We've got to be more locked in. Our help defense is non-existent. Our on-ball defense isn't creating any kind of havoc or hesitation whatsoever.
Nice take to the cup by Alette. Alette now with 6 points. You talked about it. The challenge is on this end of the floor. They give up 68 points per game. Right now, it's 42 in the first half. They've yielded to West Virginia. How about White? Shoots the passing angle. White in transition, and an easy 2.
That was zone defense getting a steal, an extended 3-2 zone for TCU.
Timeout, West Virginia on the floor. The Mountaineers went over the first half.
He's elite. Yeah, he does it in so many different ways. He's hit 3 threes in the first half. You can see his rhythm. Watch his left hand when he releases the ball. Perfect execution on his energy transfer. He's strong, he's tough, and he's one of the most elite and dynamic scorers in pick and roll that you will find. There were only a handful of players that are better overall offensively scoring than Javon Small. I mean, even if you go like deep dive analytics, he's the 11th best offensive scorer, has the 11th best offensive rating according to Bart Torvik in the country. There's only a few players like Cooper Flagg, Ryan Kalkbrenner that are better than Javon Small.
I love the deep plunge into the analytics, by the way. And Small right now playing in a way where he's not forcing anything. He's just letting this game come to him as Yesufu, a long 3, bounces off the rim, and White skying for the board.
Just would look at the rim here again for TCU.
Alette back on the other end, under 50 seconds left here in the first half. TCU just trying to cut into this lead somewhat, punch for 3. Posey the offensive rebound. Posey right under the cup, goes right up with it and picks up the foul.
Chipping away at the rim. Constantly looking to attack. That's how you're going to get yourself back into this game. Offensive rebounds, driving to the rim, layups, getting fouled, free throws. Be curious to see if TCU goes back to that extended zone on defense as well.
Jace Posey, the son of James Posey, who played 12 years in the NBA, won a championship with Miami and Boston, currently an assistant coach for the Wizards, as his son Jace adds a little tip to the bill for the three-point play. And now West Virginia, about a 5-second differential between shot and game clock. They've got to get across half. They do. And now you settle for a good shot here.
And they're staying in that zone. It's not a compact zone. You can see how spread out it is, Jordan. Free throw line's open.
Small, change of pace, kicks it out. Hansberry, no hesitation, checks up on the corner of the backboard, and TCU's gonna have one more look. White rushing down the floor, 2 seconds left. White to the corner, Posey at the horn, no good, but a 15-point lead for West Virginia. TCU ended on a 7-point run, but in the corner, we've got an injured player for West Virginia, Joseph Yesufu, right now, down at the end of the West Virginia bench, getting looked at by the training staff. And right now looks to be getting that foot stretched right now as they hand him some electrolytes, as it appears. But West Virginia couldn't be more impressive in the first half offensively. They shoot nearly 60%.
Yeah, and hit 5 threes, and they were dropping dimes left and right. The offense was humming for the Mountaineers.
Let's send it down to AJ for more.
Coach Javon Small, Sincere Harris put on a clinic defensively. You had lockdown defense. How do you keep this momentum going in the second half?
Yeah, we got to continue to play hard and be really physical and aggressive on all their screening actions, and then continue to play without fouling. I thought they did a nice job of that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
So we're taking a look at Joseph Yesufu, and it appears as he went to go challenge this shot, he comes down, keeps his balance, but then he's grabbing that left calf, and that has happened before. You assume at this moment it looks like a potential cramp. We'll have an update on his status when we come back, but it's all West Virginia in the first half as they lead by 15 here in Morgantown. It was a clinic put on defensively, and on the other end offensively, Javon Small leading the way. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal.
See how much you can save.
You're watching March to March, presented by Principal. Halftime here in Morgantown, 42-27 lead for West Virginia. That's Thomas Weiler, the cousin of our director, Chris Burns' wife, assistant coach at Waynesbury. And Jordan Kent alongside here with Mike O'Donnell. And you can rave about the West Virginia defense here, Mike, but their offense really stole the show in the first half, and they used that 23-2 run to create the early separation.
How about those threes, too, for West Virginia? 5 for 10 from the three-point line. And TCU, 22 of their 27 points came from the paint. They got to keep attacking the rim.
Let's get to our experts at work, brought to you by Principal, and we are looking at Javon Small and what he was doing in the first half.
Well, it's been miscommunication by TCU. And the roll by Andre is what pulls the freshman ball-side wing defender to overhelp. Why that's an issue? You're overhelping and leaving Javon Small, one of the best scorers in the country, wide open to lift and rip for a three. TCU has to figure out their ball screen coverage defensively in the second half, or this could get a little dicey.
First half stats, you heard it from Mike O'Donnell, the three-point shooting. West Virginia plus 15 for more from the first half as we get set for the second. Here's A.J. Ross.
Well, Jordan, I can tell you that Jamie Dixon wasn't too pleased with their first half effort on the defensive end of the floor. They ranked 4th in the Big 12, and he said they weren't playing to their standard. They need to be more efficient on that side of the ball. And he also emphasized, as he's been emphasizing all year, that they have to win the battle on the glass, guys.
AJ, thank you so much. You mentioned the rebound battle. TCU was plus 8 in their victory earlier this year. The Horned Frogs have won 4 straight against West Virginia. As it stands right now, though, West Virginia with a plus 4 advantage on the boards. And Mike, for TCU, you're down 15, but you know you can play so much better as White banks in the three, and we have a 12-point game just like that.
Trey White had some nice activity for TCU in those last about 5.5 minutes of that first half.
The largest lead of this game was 22 for West Virginia. TCU, you start to generate a couple of stops, all of a sudden your confidence is at a completely different level than it was in the first.
Good slip by O'Connor.
Outside, Hansberry, the open three, and the response rattles in. Excellent vision from West Virginia. We continue to highlight the way they're sharing the basketball. 10 assists already for a team that averages just under 14 per game. And a miscommunication, and who else but Harris in the thick of things, creating chaos.
O'Connor goes to set a screen for Small, and then he slips it. Do you see how he steps wide and keeps his arms open? And then another overhelp by TCU. Excellent pass by O'Connor, taking advantage of the overhelp for TCU. We just talked about it out of the break. TCU has to do a better job of staying with their man, guarding the ball.
It's the 8th turnover for TCU. And then a foul on Alette, his second. And so Harris, we highlighted the energy he brought to this game immediately. And it started with the defensive end, and it led to some easy scoring opportunities on offense for West Virginia.
Jordan, you just mentioned the turnovers. TCU has had 10 games this season with less than 10 turnovers. They already have 8 in this game.
Small getting to the left, retreats the dribble. Two-man game with Hansberry, 12 to shoot. West Virginia whipping it around the horn. Harris, the floater, misses everything. Punch able to corral the rebound. Alette, the drive, trying to get the angle. Well defended. Harris with the block. And then off a TCU player. The clamps continue to tighten from Harris.
It looked like certainly the potential for some contact there with Alette driving to the rim. Harris with the contest. You can see his left arm. The right arm gets ball. The left arm looks like he's almost pushing and pulling down on the left.
It's been difficult skating for TCU on any dribble penetration. That's something Darren DeVries talked about. There's no real secret sauce to their defense. They get into those lanes. They have excellent on-ball defense as Small misses the three. White with another power rebound. But it's just fundamentally sound, this defensive effort from West Virginia. White trying to use the screen off of Uday. Punch on the perimeter. Cross-court pass. Whoa! Sails a pass over the head of Alette. And that goes out of bounds, and those are the turnovers you're talking about. Unforced ones there.
What confused Punch, the freshman, was the extra help as he was trying to go to Uday underneath the rim.
It's now 9 turnovers for TCU. Hansberry picks up the dribble. 10 to shoot. Harris, strong drive into the paint. Dumps it off Small. Pocket pass. Hansberry under the rim. How about the vision from Small? Javon Small with 5 assists already in this game to go along with 11 points. Punch. Keeping that pivot foot down, goes up with the left, off target. Uday tries to keep it alive. It's Hansberry that locks up the board.
Now, I don't mind that from Punch, though. He can make that.
Small again to Hansberry. The pump fake, back out to Small. Small so quick when he goes from right to left. Can't get the angle on the bank shot, though.
He's just a smart driver. He waited for Hansberry to lift out of the paint for that opening to happen.
White, the silky smooth floater, and White starting to heat up here. He's got 10 points. He's the first Horned Frog in double figures.
Easily the most efficient and active player on the offensive side of the floor for TCU.
TCU now 2 of 4 from the field, 50%.
Missed Small on the back screen. Sorry, Jordan.
No, you're fine. He had him there. That's great eyes there, Mike. Small this time curling. His three right on target.
We're in double-double territory for Javon Small with points and assists. He's got 6 assists as well.
14 points, 4 of 6 from 3. And West Virginia with a basket every single time TCU starts to get some momentum.
Great help from Hansberry and recovery. Textbook.
White draws the foul on the three-point shot, and that's going to be against Small, his second. So timeout on the floor. White will head to the free throw line, but it's Small that's just mastering this offense right now.
A little back screen coming off a down screen, and Javon Small with 14 in an absolute rhythm for West Virginia.
In the 1950s, becoming the first black athlete to play major college ball in West Virginia. After 15 seasons in the NBA with the 76ers, he was inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame in 1982 and got a statue at Marshall University in 2021. And during the month of February, CBS Sports celebrates Black history, recognizing its influence on our culture and society. 18-point lead for West Virginia. Javon Small has dominated this game for West Virginia. 14 points, 6 assists. And it's really interesting watching him operate on offense here, Mike, because he's got an understanding now, it feels like, in the second half of Big 12 play of how teams want to try and take him out of the offense and where the release valves are, and he's making things so easy for his teammates.
And you know, what's interesting is we talked with Coach DeFries about Javon Small, and I asked him, I was a little apprehensive about asking him, when he's missing shots, when Javon Small is missing shots, what is he like? And Coach DeFries kind of looked at me like it was an odd question. And I said, well, it was more of like, you know, how does he respond when he's missing shots? And he goes, well, he doesn't respond. He just keeps playing. He's so even keel all the time. It's why he's a joy to coach. He brings it on both ends of the floor. And if he's missing shots, he's still trying to find a way to impact the game. It's not just about scoring for Javon Small. You go back and you watch the film of him defensively, he's a high-level defender as well.
The transfer from Oklahoma State, you mentioned it, typically had the help of Tucker DeVries, an excellent shooter and wing scorer. DeVries out for the rest of the season. Had left shoulder surgery in December, but now it's the supporting cast like O'Connor that has been rising to the occasion. And Jamie Dixon furious with the defensive effort he's seen from TCU tonight.
Because that zone did bother West Virginia for a few possessions.
You know, as a defensive coach, when teams are scoring this easily, it does drive you a little wild because you're trying to figure out what you can do to put the clamps on such the capable scorer that Small is. Here's a pump fake, blocked, but then a late whistle coming in. They're going to get O'Connor with the foul. His second.
A little bit on the arm there, a little bit on the forearm. Good ball fake, though. Transfer from Old Dominion. Averaged 17 a game at Old Dominion. And Alette has an enormous impact on this TCU roster. This is the second highest usage rate in the Big 12. He is involved in everything on the offensive side of the floor, whether it's shooting, distributing, just kind of does so much for this Horned Frogs team.
Harrison Small trying to break this press. They get it over with 1 second to spare. Crown wanted a foul. TCU getting a little physical there.
They're trying to ball screen this zone. There's 2 ball screens coming for Small.
Comes off the second screen. O'Connor cutting to the open space and puts it in.
They already figured it out. It only took them 2 possessions and they already figured out the zone.
And that's one of the things we were talking about with Coach DeVries is what do the off-ball players do once the help defense rotates over? He said they just have to go where the help came from.
And that was the 8th assist for Javon Small tonight. I mean, he's been almost perfect.
White off the block with Small defending, spins on Small. Andre bothers Diallo, another offensive rebound in the putback. He's been busy on that end.
He won't get an assist for that, but Trey White, again, being one of the few TCU players to be active, aggressive, attacking the rim.
White and Diallo have combined for 17 of TCU's 37 points. It's Harris putting on a ball handling clinic, gets into the paint. Floater short though. And then a foul about 80 feet away from the basket. Got a little too much hip on Alette. That's just the first foul on Harris, which is impressive considering how hard he's been playing defensively.
He had himself a great first half. Got a little, started out a little bit quiet, but you know you need that second, third guy next to Javon Small, because when you can have players who can score besides Javon Small, what does that do? The obvious thing is, well, it takes pressure off Javon Small. But what it really does is it makes an elite scorer let the game come to him. He hasn't forced one shot tonight.
Robinson, his three, no good. Rebound secured, and now we've got another situation. It appears to be another cramp, because remember, Yesufu at the end of the first half, challenging the three-point shot, fell to the floor, grabbing both his calves. They were stretching him out, giving him fluids, and now it appears his legs have cramped up again as he's just trying to go to the sideline underneath his own power. Gives the I'm good look to Jamie Dixon, but here it is.
Yeah, he landed on his left leg just like he did, like you said, at the end of that first half, contesting, and clearly he's got an issue with his calf.
Have you ever cramped up in a game?
No, I stay pretty hydrated, Jordan, throughout the course of the day. Actually, I will say, I know you're looking at me like I've lost my mind, and that was too chauvinistic, but I was never someone who that happened to. However, my younger brother, Ben O'Donnell, who really is even shorter and slower than me.
Is that even possible?
Yes, I am 5'11" with shoes on.
Oh, Small with a big three on the other end to help expand this lead. And he's got a jumper as hydrated as Mike O'Donnell so far tonight. He's got 5 threes from beyond the arc. And now West Virginia continuing to pour it on with a 20-point advantage. Picked by Tenor. The 10th turnover for West Virginia. The dime to Andre, but broken up by Reynolds. Andre this time just barrels over Alette. And that's going to be timeout West Virginia.
Look at the freeze. Look at the freeze.
Right in the middle of the mosh pit, helping his teammates onto their feet. He loves what he's seeing tonight as the Mountaineers right now on top of this game, 57-37.
About Mark Campbell, the TCU women's coach. And Coach Dixon said he's known Coach Campbell forever. He actually recruited him way back when. He calls him a good friend, and it's, of course, good to see the success for their women's program as well, guys.
As we mentioned, 26-3 start, 8 in the net. And it's really been an excellent time for TCU basketball on the men's and women's side. The men trying to make it to a 4th consecutive NCAA tournament as that is ruled out of bounds. That'll be TCU ball. And right now, Harris, grabbing his shoulder, hasn't stepped back onto the court. And the official checking with him right now if he's okay.
In some pain.
Yeah, Harris is the type of player that you know would want to try and play through this, though.
No question. He's in some pain. Keeps grabbing his right shoulder.
One more look. Harris was curling and just took a shot at an awkward angle. That was Micah Robinson at 6'6", 225, running into that shoulder. And right now the training staff looking at Harris on the baseline. Here's the three, and that is threaded by Brendan Wenzel as TCU went the entire first half without hitting a triple. They're now 2 for 3 from outside here in the second.
I think the TCU coaching staff has been waiting for Wenzel to get going. He's a career 37% three-point shooter, transfer from Wyoming. Was at Utah for 1 season as well.
And Harris is headed back to the locker room right now for West Virginia, so we'll try to give you an update when we can. Small step back three, in and out, but it was on target.
Every shot that Javon Small takes, you feel like he's going to make. Just the backspin, the follow through. His form is the same way every single time.
It has been a tough night for Noah Reynolds. Gets that ball poked away, a scrum on the floor. And so Darren DeVries, you don't think he loves what he's seeing right here? How about the energy? How about the enthusiasm? The first-year coach loving what the Mountaineers are doing tonight. Brought to you by AT&T. The difference has been the hot shooting for West Virginia. 8 of 17 from beyond the arc. They're shooting nearly 60% in what has been an extremely physical game tonight. We've got some players that have been banged up, not only tonight, but for more on that, send it down to AJ Russ.
Yeah, Jordan, the West Virginia training staff has been pretty busy here. Some good news, though. Joseph Yesufu, he's back in the huddle right now. For a while, the training staff was attending to him on a bench here, or a training bench, I should say, behind the bench, using a massage gun. He obviously was cramping with his legs. They were giving him some fluids. He's limping back to the bench as we speak. Now, Sincere Harris, he's behind the bench currently. They're looking at his right shoulder. They've been working that out. Verbally, you can tell he really wants to get back in this game, especially with the night he's having, but they're trying to be cautious. So we'll still wait for word if he's going to return in this one, guys.
Yeah, thank you, AJ. You see some of the discomfort on the face of Harris as he's doing some exercises to test the strength of that shoulder, and so we'll keep you updated. But Yesufu, obviously, good to see him back on the bench, and then a foul against TCU as West Virginia was taking it down the other way. Robinson picks up the foul, and that's his third. Anything shoulder related, you know this, Mike, just so difficult as a basketball player, especially on that shooting arm.
It's everything. It's not just shooting. It's passing, it's dribbling, it's rebounding, it's boxing out, it's, you know, getting deflections, reaching defensively.
It's Small with 17 points and 8 assists, leading the way for West Virginia. This time, eschews the ball screen. Tries to weave a pass, but intercepted by White, who had a beat on it. Reynolds still without a single point in this game. White catch and shoot three, and that's going to be a foul against TCU as Andre was thrown to the floor.
And I know Reynolds has been in foul trouble, but he hasn't even looked to score. He's only taken one shot attempt tonight. Oh, that'll count as an offensive foul for sure.
I think it gets points in wrestling for that, to be honest. So a 17-point lead for West Virginia. They're going to take a look at this. And going back to Reynolds, the reason why he's only had one shot attempt, he picked up 3 fouls in the first half and was on the floor during that 7-minute stretch where TCU didn't even score a single point. So he hasn't had a chance to establish any rhythm tonight.
Let's watch Andre, though, as well, number 0. You see him wrap up Diallo, too. Diallo definitely throws him down to the ground. Watch Diallo, watch his arms, watch what he does. Andre is holding him. I would say Andre's falling down as much as Diallo's throwing him down.
I think that's a play on.
After review, the foul has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul.
And that is why I am here and not officiating basketball.
I was waiting. I've been waiting for you to make a mistake all night. That's your first turnover. That might be your first turnover in 2 weeks, though, Jordan.
Oh, you know, I'm surprised I've gone that long without a mistake. And so it's been upgraded.
Me too. I love you, Jordan Kent. I don't want the audience to think.
No, you can't let them think that we aren't good friends, by the way.
We are best friends.
So Andre will head to the line. I still need to learn more about how you stayed hydrated in Florida all those years. We got cut off by a Javon Small 3 as Andre hits the first free throw.
Pedialyte.
Pedialyte. It wasn't pickle juice?
No, big Pedialyte guy.
Big Pedialyte guy.
Yeah, but I would train, you know, outside in the summer heat. In Florida in the summer, it gets to about 252 degrees. And so, you know, us Florida men, we're built for that stuff.
Oh. So my training in the Pacific Northwest couldn't hold a candle to your strenuous work in the Everglades.
I didn't say it. You said it.
So West Virginia in this second half continues their hot shooting from the first. They're shooting 55% and a turnover forced by TCU. Darren DeVries wants to see some better execution from his unit still.
I think what TCU is going to have to do is constantly mix up defenses. Go from man to zone to full court press. And you've got to throw multiple different looks at West Virginia, because if you give them the zone look 3 times in a row, they're going to figure it out. If you give them man twice in a row, they're going to figure it out. I think they need to go back and forth to constant switching defenses, Jordan. It's the only way to get back in this game.
Robinson just has to shot put that up and somehow throws it in as the shot clock is winding down.
That was wild.
So Micah Robinson, another one of these 5 freshmen that plays over 7 minutes a game. The only Power 5 program that can say such a thing, as Small this time was hoping Andre was going to roll a little bit more. Another turnover for West Virginia as we check out this last three from Robinson.
And it looked like initially maybe Akani bumped his right arm. That's why he threw it up there.
It was the 10th turnover for West Virginia, and it's a 16-point lead for the Mountaineers. Robinson, back-to-back threes potentially, rolls off.
But it's a good look. It's a look you have to shoot.
One of the few good looks they've had from outside, and that's going to be a foul on White on the perimeter against Small. White picking up just his first foul of the game. And it's interesting for Small that you see so many defenses come at you throughout the season. Being able to read that, and it feels like his vision is less about the two players on him, but where is the help coming from?
That's what great players do now. They don't even worry about the player that's guarding them. They're looking at the second and third level of the defense that you just alluded to.
Akani wrapped up, but a foul during the trap. And that's whistled against Diallo, and that's one of those things defensively you've got to be careful. You've got someone to pick up the ball like that.
It's one of those things defensively that you have to start feeling how the refs are calling it. And that right there, Robinson, if he just keeps his arms up, you're in a great trap, but that reach-in is what caused the foul. A good rule of thumb defensively, I actually heard this, and was just so simple from Kyle Keller, former coach of Stephen F. Austin. He goes, steal passes, don't steal dribbles. The ROI on stealing dribbles is not there.
West Virginia has turned it over their last three possessions. They haven't had a field goal in nearly 3.5 minutes. Reynolds chopped at by Tenner, who rips it away. Small in transition, able to draw the contact, and White can't believe it as he picks up his second foul, and that'll be the 6th team foul against TCU.
TCU foul 13.
And Reynolds, who's had a little bit of a rough patch over the last two games, but especially tonight compared to when TCU got the victory in February. I mean, look at the difference in these two lines right here.
Yeah, and he's really not even looking to attack, and he's checking out now. And he struggled in their loss for Cincinnati, 0 for 6 from 3.
That was also a game where he had 11 rebounds in that victory over West Virginia about 3 weeks ago. Yesufu back on the floor. White poked it away, nearly chased it down. And great to see Harris also back on the court. They were looking at that right shoulder, but he's now back in the game. Small, jump stop. Oh, had a beautiful wrap-around pass, and Andre couldn't handle it.
I know exactly what Small is doing. If I was Small, I would be frustrated with Andre not catching that, but that's a really hard pass to catch. It's 100 miles an hour above his head. Very hard for Andre to see when and how that ball is being passed.
And Mike, that's 4 consecutive turnovers over the last 4 possessions for West Virginia. Wenzel, catch and shoot 3. It's short, well defended by Akani.
That's the 6th turnover for Javon Small. Can you capitalize, though, if you're TCU?
Yesufu for 3, buries it. So a timeout by TCU, and now Jamie Dixon wants to have a word with the official because he feels there might have been a foul on that 3-point shot attempt for TCU, but for West Virginia, they've got no issues with their 3-point shooting. It's Yesufu that buries it in the corner and continues to build upon this dominant. At Santa Clara, little did you realize that he was going to torch the NBA for a couple of years. It was just dynamite with those Phoenix Suns teams.
The Fighting Herb Sendex are playing really well. Santa Clara beat Gonzaga earlier, put 103 on Gonzaga. They just beat Washington State. They put 109 on Washington State. Tonight, that game might be in the 90s.
So you're saying the Broncos have got some horsepower on offense this year as TCU gets the bucket. Thank you. 17-point advantage for West Virginia. Still in control of this game. It feels as though every time TCU is threatened, West Virginia has had an answer. Small with 9 assists, 2 shy of his season-high 11. Small again, just such a quick dribble to the left, misses it. Okani, offensive rebound. Yesufu, he'll rise and try, no good, and finally the possession closed out by Uday. Here's punch back the other way. Posey trying to get into the paint, up and under, and Posey an excellent finish as he draws the foul.
Foul is whistled on Tony O'Connor.
5 points for the freshman. I didn't want to cut you off, Jordan, because I love listening to you, but I was about to say, while you were breaking that play down, it's just got to hit the paint every single possession. TCU and the ball has to touch the paint. That's when they found the most success. 30 of their 47 points tonight have come from inside the paint.
A chance to trim the lead to 14, and listen, West Virginia led by as many as 22, and now it's TCU. Their defense has forced 4 turnovers over the last 5 possessions, and here comes the trap.
10-second count. Oh, 10 seconds.
And a 10-second count, so another turnover for the Mountaineers. That's their 13th of the game. And with 7 minutes left, TCU, they've got a couple of chances coming up here.
Toby Akani took too long, and that's why free throws are so perfect for TCU to mount a comeback. It stops the clock and enables them to set up the full court press. The only issue with free throws at TCU is, historically, this season, they're not a great free throw shooting team.
They are 9 of 13 for just under 70% tonight.
Got him.
And a great deflection by Hansberry as he gets the branches up.
It was a great play design by Coach Jamie Dixon. He had to let wide open. That either has to be over the top or a bounce pass.
So the question now is the West Virginia offense. Can they carve out some consistency after several turnovers? Yesufu blocked in midair. He's able to scoop up the deflection. Hansberry down low, 6 to shoot, out to Small. Small now has to hustle. Back to Hansberry. He launches from the corner. It's short. Rebound claimed by White.
I'd go at the rim here again.
Uday with an excellent screen right up top as he closes the lid. And we've got a 12-point ball game.
That's what Uday does. He's one of the best and most consistent dunkers in college basketball.
Now this crowd trying to urge on this West Virginia offense. They've been in such control for the entirety of this game, almost fell into a lull here, and now this is very much a game with under 6 minutes left. Hansberry, the 3, off target, rebound TCU. Ouellette in transition, trying to find his opening, and excellent transition defense by West Virginia. Posey with Small defending. Chance for isolation. The freshman against the veteran, and again draws the foul, and a chance for another 3-point play. It's the 3rd foul on Small.
Ernest Uday is one of the dunking machines of college basketball, and the freshman Posey, that's the 2nd time he's made a tough physical post-up play against West Virginia.
I think it's fair to say that's an NBA-like move. His father, of course, James Posey, just the ISO one-on-one, great footwork, and now it's 6 quick points from Posey. It's made it a 9-point game.
And absorbing the contact as well. And we're coming up on another 10-second violation. That was close.
They finally get across half court. TCU wanted to travel there as Small kind of galloped into his jump stop.
No movement.
8 to shoot. Small, Hansberry trying to do the 2-man game. Small into the lane, elevates, and does it himself.
Did you see that? Between the legs, cross. Oh, man.
We keep pointing it out. He is so fast on that first step. When he comes off the crossover, defenders have not been able to keep up with that. Posey in the paint, jumpers off, rebound Small. An 11-point lead for West Virginia, and Small just walking it down the floor. You see several players hands on knees. West Virginia exuding a lot of energy, and now they're going to just milk some clock here. Small hesitation dribble, kicks it to the corner. Yesufu rises up and hits on another one. 10 assists for Small, and Yesufu with his 4th 3 of the night. Yesufu with 14 points came into this game averaging just 6 points a game, and they're going to get Harris for the foul.
Okay, freeze it right there. So you're going to see the screen actually come on this side, and then that gives Small an opportunity to drive and get to this lane. So when they twist the screen at the very end, the drive by Small, you draw 2 defenders, the kick out for a wide open 3 for the 10th assist on the night for Small. I mean, that's about as good of execution in middle ball screen action as you get from one of the elite ball screen players in the country, in Javon Small.
What stands out is the previous possession. He put up the floater. That last time, knew the corner was open. Posey falling as he tries to go baseline again. Yesufu with the rebound as they keep it alive. West Virginia right now a number 10 seed according to Jerry Palm. They've knocked off 3 teams this season. They're ranked in the top 10 at the moment. Darren DeVries and his squad. They haven't played the greatest over the last handful of games, but they've got a season-long resume and trying to punctuate it with a win tonight. Yesufu, short on the 3, wanted to whistle. So Javon Small with his 3rd double-double of the season. This the first one with points and assists. 14-point lead for the Mountaineers. No, you're not seeing double. That's 2 of the 4 Mountaineer mascot hopefuls that are having a cheer-off tonight. They will announce the new official Mountaineer mascot, the 71st in school history, during the final home basketball game of the season. And they hope it's not the final game of the season because the NCAA tournament is around the corner for several Big 12 teams. And here it is, according to Jerry Palmer, what has been a very entertaining conference slate for the Big 12.
It should be at least 8 teams in the NCAA tournament from the Big 12. Iowa State just lost to Oklahoma State tonight.
Wow.
I still think they're going to be a 3 seed, though, and that was a huge misstep by the Cyclones. I think Arizona at a 5 seed is something you need to pay attention to. They've lost 3 of their last 4. That BYU game a couple days ago, that was a wild finish. Still think at a minimum there's going to be 8 teams. If there's one other team to watch out for, it's Cincinnati. They're right in the middle of the bubble. Their next 2 games, Baylor at home, at Houston. You get one of those wins, if you go 1 for 2 and add more quad 1 wins to your resume, you might be looking at a stronger bubble conversation for the Bearcats.
And of course, the Big 12 Conference Tournament, you never know what's going to happen considering Houston and Iowa State have lost a couple games in conference play this year.
And you know who's just strangely one of the most dangerous teams in the Big 12 is Kansas State in the last few weeks.
Yes, the Wildcats
completely changed their season around.
Yeah, they lost their first 5 and all of a sudden went big game hunting in the Big 12 as West Virginia coming up at BYU, at Utah for the Utah trip, then home against UCF. And obviously, if you talk to Coach, getting at least 2 of those 3 is a necessity.
Both the BYU and Utah games, those are quad 1 wins. If you get to, right now they have 5 quad 1 wins. This game, if West Virginia wins this one, this is a quadrant 2 win. Would be a quadrant 2 win. You get to 6 or 7 quad 1 wins, you're in about as good of a position as you can be in from an at-large perspective.
And for TCU, this was a critical game tonight. They were out of the tournament as it stands right now, but they had a chance over the last 7 games. They won 5 of their last 7. You've got UCF, Baylor, and then Colorado, some opportunities, but this was a big one for them tonight so far. They trail by 14 with just under 2:30 left.
Well, besides, you say it's a big one because they're kind of on the very bottom of the bubble. They have 4 quad 1 wins. But for TCU, this would be a quad 1 opportunity to add to your resume. They only have 1 more quadrant 1 opportunity left. It's Baylor at home.
So you'll notice on the TCU uniforms a stripe of red. What does that signify? Well, the horned frog, the mascot, when backed into a corner, and this is real life here, will shoot blood from its eyes against its predators.
Wow.
And that is why you've got the hints of red on the uniform, and one of the all-time great mascots in all of college sports, but a little science lesson for you there.
You give me one more short joke and I'm going to be shooting blood out of my eyes this year.
If it can reach me. So here we go. West Virginia trying to break the press, and this time they swiftly get it over half court, and then the foul from White. So TCU, we've talked about the resume here, Mike, and you've got wins against Baylor and Texas Tech as of late. No real bad losses, you would say, maybe at UCF, but just not enough quality wins throughout the schedule, as they said, at 15-12.
I think they've been good in Big 12 play. They're tied for 7th in the Big 12. That's better than West Virginia. There are those 4 quadrant 1 wins: BYU, Baylor, Arizona State, Texas Tech. I mean, you see, the worst loss was at UCF. They have 0 quad 3 and quad 4 losses. They're 9-0 in those games. Sort of a single, quote-unquote, bad loss from a resume perspective. They're just missing a handful more of those better wins in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2.
How about the performance from Sincere Harris, one of the other transfers from Illinois for West Virginia, who now has a career-high 13 points. He had hit 12 3 times in his career, but you couple his offensive efficiency, what he was doing on defense, his grit as he comes back into the game after taking that shot in the shoulder, that's that extra piece West Virginia's been looking for.
He's such a quick and dangerous defender.
Diallo loses the orange down low. West Virginia closes it out. It's the 14th turnover for TCU. It's been a frustrating night for Jamie Dixon and this TCU offense. Remember, they jumped on West Virginia 5-0. Then the Mountaineers used a 23-2 run in the first half.
And you know who's been really good for West Virginia too is Joseph Yesufu,
yes.
Senior, 14 points. He hit 4 threes. And he had 6 rebounds as well. And to think about, twice he had to go out because of cramps. I think there'd be a lot of players in college basketball today that would have stayed out, not bothered with it. But both him and Harris, the toughness, the grit that you alluded to, Jordan, on full display for West Virginia tonight.
It's the 4th foul on Reynolds, and that's also a huge story for TCU. He had 20 points in the win for TCU, their 4th straight over West Virginia earlier this month. Just one of those games. 0 points, 4 fouls, and never got into a rhythm.
It's really hard to beat West Virginia when they make 10 threes because their defense is so good. They're top 25 in the nation in scoring defense, and they're top 15 in the nation in 3-point field goal percentage defense. So when they're making threes, I mean, that's what we saw when they beat Arizona, when they beat Gonzaga, when they won at Kansas without Tucker DeFries and without Amani Hansberry. That's the kind of team that we saw.
Diallo trying to scoop it up, corrals the basketball. His hook shot ends at the rim. Wenzel gets checked by the rim. And West Virginia, another stop. And now Jamie Dixon telling his team no fouls with 1:15 left in this one. And I've got to ask you, Mike, you see what Javon Small's done tonight? We've seen him in person a couple of times. Is he your player of the year in the Big 12?
Oh, right now, absolutely, because nobody expected West Virginia to be this good. And what Javon Small has done without Tucker DeFries for the majority of the season has been spectacular.
Shot clock winding down.
No way.
Small has to throw it up. No good, and now under a minute remains. TCU got a hustle here. Alette, the floater, too strong. And it's Hansberry with another rebound. West Virginia with a 1-rebound advantage over TCU. With about a 9-second differential between shot and game clock, you imagine West Virginia will hold it out here, but credit the Mountaineers. A blitz in the first half to build this advantage and then never let go.
The threes, the defense, the steals, the rebounding, everything working tonight for West Virginia, including that man right there, Javon Small. Just makes his 6th three of the game.
So this one will come to a conclusion. They can turn the lights off as it is. 18-point victory for West Virginia. They improved to 17-11 on the year. 8-9 in the Big 12, and it's their first win over TCU since January of 2023 as they snapped that 4-game losing streak. And Small with a career-high 8 3-pointers. If you take a look at the updated standings, and now Baylor, TCU, West Virginia, a logjam in the middle of the Big 12.
And there's still going to be chances for West Virginia to increase their resume, to jump into the Big 12 standings. It's going to be a big-time finish in the Big 12 coming up.
From Mike O'Donnell, AJ Ross, and our entire crew, I'm Jordan Kent. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Gonzaga and Santa Clara are up next, but first, let's go back to the studio after West Virginia gets the 18-point victory. Brent Stover, bring us home, baby, as the Mountaineers get the victory at home.